Reeves Immigration Law Group now brings you Immigration Law on Your Side.
Alright, magandang gabi mga kababayan and welcome to another Immigration Law on Your Side. Right here on PHLV Radio, it's another Wednesday night, and if you're watching us on other platforms and on our podcast anytime, any other day, magandang umaga, magandang gabi, at magandang tanghali po sa inyo lahat. Nasaan man po kayo ng parte ng mundo. Maraming salamat po. Thank you for joining us here on Immigration Law on Your Side, right here on PHLV Radio. Pag-uusapan po natin yung mga kaibigan, medyo medyo malungkot pero dapat napapag-usapan ito. Kasi you know what, navigating the emotional process of immigrating to the United States can be challenging enough already. But when unexpected life events occur, such as the passing of a petitioning spouse, it can add further complications to your immigration journey. Minsan, double whammy pa ang nagiging problema, no? But fortunately, there is a widow spouse petition that may be able to help you. And it may provide a solution sa inyong situation. So joining us tonight is Attorney Flomy Javier Diza, once again from San Francisco, California, to guide us through the process of the widow spouse petition. Attorney, magandang gabi po sa iyo.
Magandang gabi, Kuya Johan, at babatiin na rin natin ng mga viewers and listeners natin na magandang hapon o magandang umaga saan man po kayo, at maraming salamat sa patuloy niyong panonood at pakikinig sa aming programang Immigration Law on Your Side at sa PHLV Radio. Maganda ating pag-uusapan, Kuya Johan, dahil nangyayari ito, at this is a specific discussion sa atin ngayon dahil in the past we discussed about death of the petitioner. Petitioner could either be your children, your parents, di ba, or your siblings. Ngayon, specific ang ating pag-uusapan, yung spouse. Ano mangyayari kung ang namatay ang inyong spouse? Kasi may mga distinction, Kuya Johan, kung ang namatay ay ibang kamag-anak, like your parents or your children or your sibling, pero iba rin ang policy, ibang batas kung ang namatay ay inyong asawa.
Mm-hmm. Ito ba po, attorney, ang commonly na pinag-uusapan na nababanggit na widower or widow petition? Ito po ba yan?
Correct. It's a widow or widower petition. It's automatically converted, Kuya Johan, if your spouse already had filed yung Form I-130. So let's say ang inyong asawa ay US citizen or a lawful permanent resident at kayo po ay nasa US o nasa Pilipinas o nasa outside the United States at naghintay kayo ng petition para ma-approve at i-consular process at bigla namatay ang inyong asawa. That petition, yung Form I-130, mga kababayan, is automatically converted in the Form I-360. Right? Ito yung widow or widower spouse petition. Yung I-360 na form, mga kababayan, maraming mga classification na pwedeng i-petition under this form. Hindi lang po widow or widower spouse. I-360 ay ginagamit din sa battered spouse, yung Violence Against Women Act, at saka mga juvenile petitions, yung mga neglected or abandoned children, diba? Meron din petition. So, pag-usapan din siguro natin in the future kung ano yung mga different na kinds of petitions, hindi lang yung very common, the spouse and then relatives, may mga neglected children, and then ngayon yung pag-usapan natin yung widow or widower under Form I-360.
Tulad ng nabanggit natin kanina, ang sitwasyon na ito ay double whammy sa ating mga kababayan na nag-apply, kasi nawala na sila ng spouse, medyo naging hindi pa malinaw na ngayon yung kanilang immigration process. Attorney, how will our kababayan know, or the supposed beneficiary know, that he or she is eligible for a widow or widower spouse petition, conversion, yung katulad ng nasabi nyo, automatic na ko-convert. Is everybody qualified yung nag-apply nito, attorney?
There are requirements na dapat i-submit at kailangan inform ang USCIS kasi dalawang pwede mangyari dyan. So let's say you marry a US citizen or a lawful permanent resident. Yung first scenario, you filed the I-130 as we mentioned kanina, where the I-130 is automatically revoked upon death. So automatic in the sense na from the date of death considered na widow or widower spouse petition na yon. Right? So paano malalaman ng immigration? So you have to inform them, right, that the petitioner already passed away by, of course, providing yung yung death certificate ng petitioner para naman malaman nila, kasi baka i-process nila dito as as spouse petition, di ba, at mabigyan kayo ng wrong category at magkakaroon ng major problem later on. So it should be a proactive on your part as the applicant beneficiary to inform USCIS about the death. So whether the petition has been filed with USCIS and been approved, or whether it has been forwarded to the National Visa Center or to the U.S. Embassy for processing. So you still have to inform them. Yun yung unang scenario. There was a petition that has been filed. But what if kung wala pa? So pwede rin po yun by filing that Form I-360. Right? But you have to pay instead of 790, yung bagong filing fee ng I-130, ang widow spouse is around 515 lang. So you have to file that, and of course, aside from the marriage certificate and the death certificate, you also have to establish that this is a bona fide relationship. So hindi ibig sabihin na na porket asawa mo US citizen, entitled ka na ng green card or visa. So you still have to establish, like any normal marriage-based cases, that the relationship is bona fide. So aside from the documents that we mentioned kanina na death certificate, marriage certificate, you also have to provide yung joint documentation, like you've been filing taxes for a long time, right? You have joint bank accounts together, joint insurance, life insurance, medical insurance, car insurance, or kapag bagong kasal lang naman kayo, of course, yung inyong photographs or photos together with some family members and friends, photos during your wedding, or any kind of proof that the relationship is bona fide. Pwede rin declaration or affidavit from your friends and family. So yun ang mga requirements. And of course, siyempre dapat ang inyong kasal ay legal or legit, right? Or valid. In other words, right, you are capacitated to marry the U.S. citizen. So let's say kayo po ay mayroong unterminated marriage, akala ninyo mayroon nang completed na yung annulment, yun pala hindi. Akala ninyo namatay na yung dati yung asawa, yun pala hindi. So, kapag hindi na-terminate yung marriage po ninyo and you marry this U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, definitely ang inyong petition ay madi-deny. So, yun yung mga requirements po natin at dalawang scenario when to use the I-360 widow or widower spouse petition.
Okay. So, Attorney, marami ng mga pumapasok na mga tanong dito sa atin, but one of the things na tinatanong nila dito is what if yung kanilang spouse ay namaalam at sumakabilang buhay na kaagad, at meron silang mga anak na gusto ring i-petition. How does it affect yung mga anak? Yung ano ba tawag dito? Will yung mga pinipetition nilang mga family members or other family members?
That's really a good question, kasi kapag let's say bagong kasal lang at may mga anak na sila, either with the same father petitioner or stepchildren, as long as the children are below 21, right, eligible po sila to immigrate with the mother and the widow spouse. However, kung biological children po yan ng petitioner, right, na namatay, tignan din po natin kung ipinag-usapan natin o subject of our discussion in the past where meron tinatawag na derivative citizenship, right? So if the children were born, right, before the children were born when the petitioner father was already a U.S. citizen, they might be already a citizen. So kahit pinanganak sila sa Pilipinas, they can probably derive their citizenship sa kanilang magulang. Now, even if the petitioner passed away, right? So hindi widow sila kundi automatic citizen. However, kung hindi sila eligible, let's say pinanganak sila green card holder lang yung tatay na namatay, right? At pe-petition na niya yung asawa niya, right, yung mga bata will be considered as derivative, Kuya Johan. Derivative children sila. So, yun ang kinaganda ng widow spouse well, technically kasi may sasama kay US citizen yung petitioner. Kasi in the real world, Kuya Johan, kung ang petitioner ay US citizen at pe-petition mo yung asawa mo at yung stepchildren mo, right? You need to file a separate petition kasi ang immediate relative ay walang derivative beneficiaries. They have to have a separate petition. Pero sa widow spouse, right, derivative po sila yung mga bata. If they were minor, right, and they were married bago mag-18 yung bata because that's one of the requirements for petitioning stepchildren.
Aha, okay. Alright, so maraming salamat po sa mga nagtatanong sa ating programa at mangyari po lamang na isulat sa ating comment section. Attorney, ilang beses na natin napag-usapan ng K1 visa, Attorney? At in fact, it's one of the most popular visa categories. Ano po, Attorney, ang epekto nito kung ang isa sa kanila, yung petitioning spouse ay sumakabilang buhay bago pa sila nakapag-adjust yung mga beneficiary, Attorney?
Yes, unfortunately, Kuya Johan, wala nang pag-asa yung beneficiary kapag hindi sila pakasal. Kasi widow spouse refers to spouse, right? So, hindi yung fiancé or fiancé mo lang yung petitionin mo. So, even if, for example, Kuya Johan, the K1 petitioner, for example, yung fiancé, pass away at naghintay yung kanilang fiancé sa Pilipinas para ma-interview ng K1 visa at namatay yung petitioner, wala na. Unfortunately, wala na. Now, nakapasok ngayon yung applicant, right, at nandito na sa US at kakasal na lang sila, namatay yung petitioner, unfortunately, wala na rin. Kasi if they were not married. Pero kung nagpakasal sila, and even it's one day, the petitioner passed away, then the beneficiary is eligible under the I-360 widow or widower spouse petition.
Ayun, okay. So, mahalaga pala ang timing talaga. It's like with many other things na pinag-usapan natin, yung timing talaga. Speaking of timing, Attorney, people grieve differently. Yung iba siguro, before they can do anything, maisubmit itong mga requirements na ito. Baka, sige, uwi muna ako ng Pilipinas o magbakasyon muna ako because of what they are going through, Attorney. Meron po bang expiration date ito na kailangang lakarin mo kaagad after the passing of your petitioning spouse?
Yes, there's a window, Kuya Johan, for the widow or widower to file the petition. They must do it so within 2 years, of the death of the U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident spouse. So walang exceptions dito. There were situations na we tried, right, let's say, hindi nila alam because, meron palang deadline. So it's really a good idea sa mga kababayan natin to consult a lawyer kung ganito ang sitwasyon. And as you mentioned nga kanina, people grieve differently at siyempre pag iisipin mo, hindi naman paano yung status ko, right? Of course, there are many other things na asikasuhin mo, right? Pag burial, etc. At saka yung mga estate siguro, right? And then you only to find out na, hey, passage of time, 2 years na pala ang lumipas at hindi mo na na-file. So, yung batas na ignorance of the law does not excuse anyone. So, dapat alamin din ninyo at keep in mind ko if the situation happens to you, to consult a lawyer when to file or to file the with the spouse as soon as you can kasi may expiration yan. So, as long as you file within the 2 year from death, you are okay kahit yung processing time ay tumagal pa. So, it's really important to find that option. And also, Kuya Yon, emphasize pala natin din na let's say kahit yung beneficiary ay nasa Pilipinas, right, maganda pa rin na ituloy yung petition as widow or widower spouse petition. Kasi kung let's say ang nag-apply ng nag-petition po sa inyo ay magulang, or mga anak po ninyo at sila ay namatay, right, wala pong siblings the deceased petition or something, walang ganon, or child's deceased petition, wala pong ganon. Kung ang petitioner yo ay parents or children or sibling at sila ay namatay, ang remedy po dyan, mga kababayan, which was the subject of our discussion in the past, ay humanitarian reinstatement, right? So it's more difficult than the widow spouse. Kasi ang widow spouse, Kuya Johan, i-convert lang yan if na-file yung petition, and you just have to establish yung relationship. Unlike for humanitarian reinstatement, ang daming mga requirements and it's really hard to get kasi there are different factors that you have to comply, di ba? Dapat meron ka rin substitute sponsor. Now, ang kinaganda pa nitong widow spouse, aside from, makakonvert siya or mas mabilis kaysa humanitarian reinstatement, since the petitioner passed away, right, we have also established na hindi po sila magiging public charge yung mga beneficiaries, di ba, by filing that affidavit support. So, usual question mga kababayan natin, paano yung attorney wala nang maggagawa ng affidavit support? Patay na yung aking asawa at wala akong kakilala, di ba, sa US na gagawa ng affidavit support o mag-provide ng financial documents. Well, the good thing about this widow spouse din, mga kababayan, is you are exempted under affidavit support. So, instead of filing yung I-864 affidavit support o maghanap ka ng sponsor, judge sponsor or substitute sponsor, ang kailangan mong i-file is yung I-864W. W in the sense that you are exempted under the law because you're a widow or widower, right, to file for affidavit support.
Ayun. At saan naman ito, attorney, fina-file? Sa USCIS, ano? Sa ang petition?
Yes, the USCIS, where there's usually a jurisdiction where you file, it's either with the California Service Center, Nebraska, Vermont, right, or Texas Service Center, depende sa jurisdiction po ninyo, right? And also, if you are in the US, for example, you are here on a tourist visa or you've been here for a very long time and you overstayed your visa and you marry a US citizen, right, you can concurrently file the I-360, parang I-130 yan, na parang buhay yung petitioner with your adjustment of status. And if you want to apply for a work authorization and advance parole, you may do so because you have a pending adjustment. So if you are in the US, file the adjustment. If you are outside the US, then do the consular processing through the National Visa Center and wait for your interview at the embassy.
And ma-remind natin, attorney, again, kung how much ang cost nito, yung application ng...
The fee increase from, I think, 450 naging 500, 515 ngayon, filing fee. I just checked just because the fee was increased effective April 1 at lumaki na lahat ng mga filing fees. Pero ang widow spouse, I think there's just an increase of less than 100, which is now 515. You can pay it by check or by money order.
Ayun. And mga kababayan, like what attorney outlined a while ago, if you are in this situation, ay mangyari lamang pong kumontak sa ating mga immigration attorneys, especially at Reeves Immigration. And sidetrack a little bit, attorney, we've had a lot of friends, especially out there in California, who are reaching out to our offices out there. I believe we're going to have a new office, ano, attorney? Or you already there?
It's a very nice office in the East Bay, ang tawag dyan, east of San Francisco, where the immigration court is currently housed. Right, it's a gateway building. There are two beautiful buildings at Concord. Doon naka-house ngayon ng more than 20 immigration judges. Right, we're just we're at the second floor of the Gateway 1 building in Concord. We already started operation since May 1, and we already meet our clients there and have consultation and meet up to process their paperwork.
Nako, congratulations sa Reeves Immigration Law Group for in this new office. Yung ating dati po attorney, wala na yon, yung sa Walnut Creek. Nandito
yes,
na,
we moved.
Nilipat.
They are just neighboring cities, Kuya Johan, and the reason being is ang list namin already expired, and secondly, I think it's really a great idea to move closer to where the business is kasi nandun na yung immigration court.
Oo, kompleto na kaagad, no? So, attorney, kung meron pa po silang mga itatanong regarding the widow spouse petition, if they are not able to go to your office, they can still call and Zoom or do those remote consultations, ano po?
Yes, very efficient naman, Kuya Johan, ang Zoom and by remote. Mostly, I would say 80, still like 60% of our consultations and conference with our clients are by Zoom, no? It's more convenient kasi you don't really have to see us in person. But if you do, I mean, marami naman kaming offices where we can meet up. But definitely, Kuya Johan, since as we mentioned in the past, ang immigration practice is federal. So we practice any of the 50 states of the U.S. and its territories, kagaya ng Puerto Rico, Guam, etc. And also all the embassies worldwide. So yun ang kinaganda ng immigration practice, that we are not limited to sa state or sa California lang or sa Nevada lang. So all 50 states, and we have clients everywhere, Kuya Johan, from East to West Coast to Midwest. Lahat yan, meron din sa Guam, meron din sa Puerto Rico. So we practice immigration, so they can call us, contact us, and consult with any of the partners or lawyers here at Reeves Immigration Law Group. All the partners and some of the associates are certified by the state bar as immigration law specialists. We have consultation. We have a consultation fee rather of $100, but we can always waive that kung you mentioned we heard us from PHLV Radio.
Nako, ayan. Kaya mga listeners and viewers, I just mentioned PHLV Radio, and Attorney Diza can waive the consultation fee. Lalo na yung mga guest namin kahapon dito na mga nurses, they are very excited to meet our Attorney Diza this weekend because we are celebrating Nurses Week this week, and nagpapaabot po ng pasasalamat sa inyo ang buong Philippine Nurses Association of Nevada. Papasalamat po sa Reeves Immigration Law Group sa inyong suporta. Kaya kayong mga nurses, kung meron kayong mga tanong, yesterday they were already here. They were asking a lot of questions. Sabi namin, hintayin nyo yung Sabado, si Attorney Diza will be here. So some of them will probably approach you and meet up or consult, and eventually have you handle their cases. So Attorney, before I let you go, baka meron po kayong mga takeaways sa ating mga kababayan and for those listening and viewing us on different platforms about our topic today, itong widow or widower petition.
Yes, you mentioned, Kuya Johan, once a petitioner passes away, it's a double whammy, and it's devastating for the family of the passing of your spouse or your relative, and also your immigration options already would crash. But there's always an option, there's always a way, especially for a widow or widower spouse. Just keep in mind of the requirements, right? And of course, the filing deadline. Consult us at Reeves Immigration Law Group, right? Hindi lang kung ang namatay ay spouse, or kung ang namatay ay hindi spouse, kung di ka mag-anak, there's always an option too, like the humanitarian reinstatement. And if you are here in the U.S. and your priority date is available, we can discuss your options to file the humanitarian reinstatement and adjustment of status and work authorization. So there's always that option. So it's really a great idea to call us and contact us and see your options. And of course, Kuya Johan, reminded natin mga viewers natin and listeners that, the Integrated Bar of the Philippines California chapter will conduct the free legal consultation at the Philippine Consul General every first Friday of the month. Katatapos lang last Friday, and our next natin is June. We also have a partnership with the Philippine Consul General in Los Angeles, where we do a Zoom consultation, advising the mga kababayan natin regarding Philippine laws, immigration, and local laws dito sa US. And of course, lastly, Kuya Johan, congratulations pala sa Philippine Nurses Association of Nevada, and thank you for the invitation. We are excited and proud to be a sponsor, one of the sponsors rather, of your event. And congratulations. I'll see you on Saturday. Maraming salamat.
Nako, maraming salamat, attorney, and we're excited to have you here on Saturday for the event honoring our great nurses, hindi lang sa Nevada but all around the country or all around the world, lalo na mga Pilipinong nurses. Attorney Diza, maraming salamat once again. And for our listeners, make sure to download our podcast. Marami nang nakikinig sa atin sa podcast, attorney. Just the audio, because some of them are working, lalo na yung mga nurses na bisita namin kahapon. Nakikinig kami sa inyo, pero sa audio lang kasi nagtatrabaho sila, so they download the podcast. Pero pagka sa podcast kayo, hindi nyo nakikita yung gandang lalaki ni Attorney Diza. Kaya makinig kayo at manood dito po sa ating palatuntunan sa PHLV Radio. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Amazon Fire TV. And again, from Las Vegas, ito po si Kuya Yo para sa Immigration Law on Your Side, right here sa PHLV Radio. We will see you again next time.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has just brought you Immigration Law on Your Side. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific on